Yeah, okay, guys. So at this level, we are just going to start back where we left off. If you've not watched the first lab session, you can go back and watch that. In this lab session, we want to be able to disable the timer so that each time a user logs in the keyword sudo, the user should be able to input their password before proceeding. So uh, I've already started my terminal again, and if you look closely, I'm using the account unit. So right now I can go right in and just type a command that has to do with sudo. So if it says sudo, this can the same command we used last time, dash L, you see that we have the fdisk command actually executing. What about if we try to kill the timer? Sudo dash K, we've killed the timer, and normally when we put in the keyword sudo and authenticate, it should last 5 minutes. Kill the timer, and then we'll have to begin again all over with this uh, asking us for the password. So in this case, if we go on after killing the process and we do that, you will see that immediately we are asking again for the password, and we have to input that for that command again to execute. So, okay, it says that's what is it correct. So try that again, and command executes. That's fine. What do we do? Do we at every moment kill the timer for us to force the user to input the password, or we can go right ahead and do that in a different way, and that way will be to edit our sudo file and input those defaults there. So we are going to go to sudo dash sudo, sorry, sudo, so that we can get into the sudo file. Go right up to where we have the default commands, and then of course we are going to type that. So right here we have the default specifications to make sure that we type in that command to make sure that at every time that the keyword sudo is used, immediately the timer should be set so that the next time again is used, the the user should be able to put in their passwords before proceeding. So I'm going to go in and type that. So let's see, type that again. So right now I'm going to type that again. I'm going to go in and that's one of the defaults. Oh, sorry, I have to enter edit to that's defaults, and of course timestamp default timestamp. Sorry, timestamp. Uh, timeout. And of course, we're going to give it the value 0. So every time by default, the timer should be 0. And then I think I'm going to save that. So I'm going to say escape and then colon W to save that. And I'm back to the terminal. So right now, to clear this up. And of course, you get to it again. What if I use that the command I used earlier, sudo fdisk l dash l, you will see that it asks to put the password. So I've done that. And sorry, and the command executes. And if I do that again the second time, remember we've just put the default to 0, so it should be able to ask us for the password the second time. So again, it does that. So to do that and for the command to execute. And if I do that again, I will be asked the password again. So in this case, you see that the default 5 minutes timer that we normally use, we've changed that. So you see that it has to be. So you can keep, you can instead, you can decide to kill the timer just as we did before with sudo -k, or we just go to the sudo file and update the file with the default timestamp out equal to 0, and to force every user to be able to input the password every time they want to launch a sudo command. What if we want to do that for specific users and not for all users? Again, there's that possibility. We have to go back to the sudo file, edit it to ensure that it takes into consideration that possibility. So I'm going to do sudo and sudo. Do I have yes? Okay, so I'm back here. I'm going to take I to edit that. And let us say I want only Lionel to be able to put in their passwords every time, while Caitlin and Maggie should be able to go on uh, with their business without necessarily putting in their passwords. So I just want to force this on Lionel, while other users stay on the normal default 5 minutes that they each have. So I've put the default. Lionel should be able to do that. The timestamp should be set for Lionel alone, while Maggie and Caitlin should be free from that. So now that is done, I'm going to escape the editing and of course to save that and log out. WQ. So I'm out. So I'm going to clear terminal again. Let me see that for. I'm going to do this again. So it's going to ask for for me to for Lionel to input the password, and that is it. I should input the password, and of course, if I run that command again, Lionel should be able to input the password. Okay, so I'm going to exit Lionel and then let us pick. Okay, let us go with Caitlin and see what will happen if I execute that same command again with Caitlin. So I exit Lionel and then I log in as Caitlin. Okay, so I'm in now like Caitlin. Let me to clear that. So I'm in like Caitlin. So I'm going to do sudo. It is so dash L dash L and of course you see that it asks for the password the first time. Now when I put that in, okay, yes, Caitlin was not able to execute this from the very first lab that we did. So Caitlin does not have that privilege, but Maggie has, so I'm going to use Maggie instead. So, so I'm going to enter as Maggie. You to be able to understand, you can go back to and watch the first lab. Now I have Maggie because we earlier edited this the sudo file giving Maggie and Lionel this privilege, not Caitlin. So it doesn't work with Caitlin, but it does with Maggie and Lionel. So now I'm logged in as Maggie. So I want to execute the sudo disk -l. Of course, it asks for the password. The command is executed. What if I want to do it the second time? Remember, for Lionel, it will ask again because we had earlier set that's default for Lionel, so that every time Lionel should be able to input their password. But what about Maggie should not be able to input the password the second time. So if I run that command again, you see that it executes without asking for Maggie to input the password. Why is that so? Because again, if I go to sudo, uh, okay, it doesn't work with that. With Maggie, Maggie is not expected to launch that vsudo command. All those things were inputs earlier. So as we can see, Lionel was able to open the sudo file because Lionel has all the privileges edited. And of course, remember that with Lionel, uh, we did not have, we are asking Lionel to input the password every time, but that does not automatically hold for every other user like Maggie, just as we've seen. So that lab tells us how to kill the timer in that case, and for Lionel specifically, and allow it for every other user. We've seen that, and I think that should be it for this lab. Thank you for watching. Catch you up next time.